Hey there, hi there, ho there, Mandy, baby of 18 here. So it's been a while since I've been on. Yeah. With Christmas and New Year's, and I hope everybody had a happy New Year's and a Merry Christmas. And it was a little rough, but I got there, got through it, and had fun with my family. So I hope you had family and friends surrounding you and had a good time. So the last I came on, I showed some Christmas lights, and we had a Christmas light contest in our city, and um, I never got to upload the rest of the lights I had, but I hope you enjoyed the ones I put up. Yeah, doesn't really matter who won. All the lights were nice. I was going to put the winners up, but then I decided everybody's a winner, and I didn't get to upload all the pictures and videos, so we'll just say they were wonderful, and everybody was winner. We got snow for Christmas, which was surprising, and it was nice, I guess. Christmas Eve the roads were a mess, and we had to go to my daughter's house, so we had to drive in that. And it was messy. And my husband snowplows, so he got called in and had to plow through Christmas Eve and Christmas a little bit. But it was nice money for him. For us, I should say. Anyway, so I had a birthday, and this is what 56 looks like, and no makeup, and I'm in the middle of a lupus flare. So that was another reason I haven't been on. My lupus is flaring up. The day before my birthday, all of a sudden, my one arm started hurting so bad I couldn't lift it. And then it moved into my shoulder. And then by the next day, on my birthday, it was in both arms. I still had a birthday party with my family. They came here, and it was nice. They brought pizza and cassata cake. And that's one of my favorite. My other favorite is like a chocolate cake with a chocolate mousse in it. I'm not a big sweet person, sweets. I like frosting, but I only like the whipped cream frosting or a mousse frosting, which neither one has a lot of sugar in. I mean, it has sugar, but not as much sugar as the other ones. So, yeah, it was delicious. And I eat my pizza a lot of times with no sauce, with garlic sauce instead. So that's what I got. If you haven't ever tried it, you should try it. And you can put any topping on it. Just put garlic butter and have them put garlic butter instead of red sauce. And then, like, all your toppings. So I eat just about any topping except raw onions or anchovies. You won't get me to eat either. So, yeah, I like just about anything else. And let's see. So then, anyway, I couldn't pick up either arm by the next day after my birthday, and I was convinced to go to the ER by my doctor because on the 30th my dog tripped me and I fell and I had hit my head on a chair, and I was fine, but then that arm thing happened, so he thought it was due to the fall. So he sent me to the ER. 9.5 hours later, they were very attentive. The doctor was wonderful. Nice young doctor, very attentive. Anyway, 9.5 hours later, CAT scan, x-rays, blah, 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 blood tests. They said my inflammation markers were up. So, and I had a fever. So they didn't know if it was my lupus. But they thought I had a pinched nerve. That's why I couldn't raise both arms. And they gave me steroids, which I've been on many times for my lupus and other things. autoimmune diseases, you end up taking steroids. So then, yeah, I ended up steroids, and a day and a half later, my arms were getting better, and I could lift them, and now they're fine. See? Woohoo! Nice. Anyway, so yesterday I went to my rheumatologist, and it was just my regular checkup for my lupus. He went over my blood work, and he decided that it was probably a lupus flare. All my markers for lupus were elevated, and he said, "Why didn't you just come here?" Well, because I'm stubborn, and my regular doctor, well, it wasn't my regular doctor, but it was one in the practice, had convinced me to go to the ER because he thought it was from the fall. So whether it was a pinched nerve or my lupus, who knows? Either way, I'm okay now, but except that I'm in the middle of a lupus flare. And what that means is just a lot of pain, and all my blood markers are up. So anything that you want to do, it just takes a lot of energy and focus and things like that. If you have lupus or you've had lupus, you'd know that. We have a spoon theory, and you have so many spoons a day. It's like 12 spoons a day, and each thing that you do requires so many spoons. And like for most people, if you are taking a shower takes 2 to 3 spoons from your 12 spoons. And each thing you do in your day, like cook dinner, that could take 2 or 3 spoons. And, taking care of children or grandchildren like I do, that takes spoons. I have to take them to school and things like that. Don't get me wrong, I love my grandchildren. I love having them around. And I look forward to actually taking them to school in the morning. Sometimes, it gets to be a lot, getting up really early again at my age and with lupus and take him to school. But it gives me something to look forward to. And they're just such dolls. So, sometimes you want to complain. But then you think and you go, it's so much fun though, most days. They're so cute and so fun to be around, and it gives you a purpose and something to look forward to that's not work. Really, it's not. It seems like it sometimes, but it's not work. So, yeah, it's been hard to get on and do a video. So, anyway, my rheumatologist for my lupus, he wants me to go on a new medication. And the medications I've been on for lupus are nothing strong and nothing that, I absolutely had to be on. They were just to help a little. But now it looks like I'm going to have to go on medication. I mean, I don't have to, but it would be to my benefit, I guess. I'm on a lot of other medications for various things, and I'm allergic to a lot of medications. So when I go on something new, it kind of freaks me out. So I can't say that I'm not freaked out about going on a new medication. I don't know if there's anybody out there that's allergic to medications like I am, or has had many reactions to medications like I have, but I've had so many reactions to medications. Blood pressure medication, antibiotics, pain medications, so many allergies, it's ridiculous. So anytime I start a new medication, yeah, it really freaks me out. I just am not sure, that I want to do it because I have so many issues with it. So I don't know if anybody has thoughts on that. If they have any of those problems, I'd love to hear about it. And let me know. because knowledge is power, and I like to hear about it. I would like to hear about your stories if you have any about medications and your illnesses and what you have to face with them. And yeah, so it's been rough. I had a little bit of a rough birthday, but I'm still celebrating. I'm going out with friends and family and things and doing, some things for my birthday still that I missed out on because, I was not feeling well. Yeah. Yesterday, with the lupus flare, I never take naps in the afternoon. I actually fell asleep and took a nap. And that was really odd for me. And then, we went out to dinner with my son and his friend, and I ate, and then I came home, and I was just like so tired. They were working on putting in a floor up in the upstairs bedroom, and I sat in the chair, and I fell asleep again. And that's very rare too. So then I went to bed really early. Didn't even want to watch TV, just laid in bed and went to bed. And then I woke up and watched some TV, and then I went back to bed. Like, I just slept and slept. And I know that happens with lupus, and it happened yesterday. And it's rare for me. And usually if I fall asleep in the afternoon or something, I can't sleep at night, and that's a big reason why I don't take naps. But boy, did I need it yesterday. And then my grandchildren have strep, so I was worried I was getting strep. So today I went and got tested for strep. I don't have it, thank God, but I'm not in the clear because, they just recently got it. So the incubation period is not up, the doctor said. So just gotta watch. I guess it's going around schools. My daughter's a teacher. There's a lot of kids out with strep. And there were a ton of people there at the doctor's office who had strep or were getting tested for strep. So, yeah. So that's where I've been. And, hey, I made the most of it. Got through it. And here I am. Stronger than before. And more knowledgeable. Yeah. So we'll start back on the other stories. So now we're at the point where we've covered all the old stuff and we're into the new stuff. And yeah, so let's talk about that. So we're starting with the news stories. But anyway, I was watching, 1923. And I was thinking, oh wow, my dad was born in 1920. And that's what the world was like. Isn't that crazy? Like, I know this because he's talked about it, but refrigerators were only in the big cities. And the one building that my parents owned had an ice stack. And what that is when they made the big cubes of ice, it went down the chute, and it was like a large chimney. And it's still there, and it's pretty cool. But my dad told me the story of it. And the ice went down the chute. Anyway, the chute is a chimney, but it was the size of a block that fit into ice boxes, is what they used to call refrigerators, but they weren't, you didn't call them refrigerators because they had these big cubes of ice that kept the refrigerators cold. That's how you kept your food cold, was this big ice block that you placed in these refrigerators. So that's where the term ice box came from for refrigerator, because refrigerators started out with this big ice block. So yeah, my parents purchased the building much later on, but it was originally what they made in this building, but not what my parents did. Um, Very interesting. So I thought about how they had ice boxes, you know, and that refrigerators were just starting, where they plug them in and everything, where they run on electricity. And I thought, well, that was what my dad saw in his youth, and how they dressed, how his family would have dressed, is what we would see, you know, in the 20s. And it just is very wild to think of all the decades and all the changes that my father saw through his life, because America was changing so quickly as compared to now, because inventions were more prevalent. Like now, so many things have been invented, and we're so spoiled. And the things that are invented now are just like more, what can I say? Not so much original as they are better versions. But back then it was new and original and first ever, and changed their life in so many ways as compared to now, you know, because we have had electricity and lights in our homes and refrigerators in our homes and washers and dryers in our homes. But back then, not everybody had them, and they were just starting to get them, and life was changing drastically. The way you did things, and things were becoming more easier, and for people, or maybe not easier. I'm not sure. I would think easier because, like, you had to scrub your clothes on a washboard, didn't have washers and things like that. So my father saw all these inventions coming to light, and his family's life changing so drastically. And just, tuberculosis was really prevalent then, and his mother got it and passed away. And just, it's just crazy to think about all the things he saw. I mean, we've seen things, but not so much as the invention side, because we already have these things. We're just inventing new forms of them, better forms of them. So I don't know, it's something to think about, how life has changed so much, and how somebody who saw the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, he saw all those years and all those changes. Just think of how the things must have felt for him, how you changed so much. And by the time the 90s came, we had internet. We had internet by the time he passed away. And to go from so little to that in his lifetime. And CDs, DVDs, all those things, cable, he saw all those inventions come to light. Anyway, that's that. That's what I've been thinking about. And so, okay, I'm 7, and like I told you, my father decided that he was going to move us to this house that was in the middle of nowhere in a little town. Just crazy. Okay, school was not around, just up the corner. It was a 20-minute bus ride or more, longer for me, every day, for me and my siblings, which we were used to walking to school because we lived in a big city and school was just up the block. And that's still true for a lot of people. Cities, your school's just up the block, but um, not there. And it's still, a 20-minute bus ride from one end of the city to the school. And longer sometimes if you have to, pick up kids. Sometimes it took 45 minutes to get to school on the bus because you're picking up kids along the way. And there are a lot of hills there. So we're up and down hills. And I remember the first winter there because we moved there in November when I was 7. So the first winter, there was a huge hill on the way to school, and it like goes straight up. They fixed it now, but it would go straight up. And the bus is going up the hill, and all of a sudden we start sliding back in the bus down the hill. I mean, at 7, we thought it was funny. We didn't know that it was dangerous or anything like that. At 7, we're laughing on the bus, All us kids are laughing. And the bus driver's trying to calm us down, and we're just laughing. And she can't get the bus up the hill. So the bus is stuck, then gets stuck in the middle of the hill. And I remember they had to send another bus to the bottom of this hill, and we had to get out of the bus and walk down this little part of the hill to the new bus and get in the new bus so the bus could take us to school because she was stuck on the hill. Could you imagine? I mean, just crazy. So, yeah. And that happened to us more than one time sliding down that hill, but usually we got up. It just took a few times to get up the hill. There were other hills you could go up, but this happened to be one route that we had to take to pick up students on the way that lived on this hill. And yeah, it was funny. So that's one funny story. But yeah, first year I lived there, and, telling my parents, they're more worried, but we're laughing about it because we're kids. We think it's funny sliding back on the hill. Yeah. So, anyway, living there was very different. It was like the middle of nowhere for us because we came from a city that was big, and then we moved to this little town. But, yeah, I made, great friends there, and it was a good school. It was a good school system. Every school system has its faults. Every school system has things they could do better, But as far as the education I got, it was probably way better than the education I would have gotten in the city. And like I said, the one friend that stayed in the city, she got bused, and, she changed a lot. And we were living very different lives. So we kept in contact, but as we got older, we kind of drifted apart more because our lives were so different, And so that's where I'll leave the story today, about the sliding down the hill in the bus. And then there's going to be some talk about how we had to go to school at night. And that's another issue we faced when we moved there. Not right away, but we'll talk about that next time. It was good to see everybody again. And again, feel free to chat with me in the comments. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Take care, everybody.